Hello, everyone. I'm Sachin Gupta, and it's great to be with all of you here in Las Vegas. We're going to be talking about AI and modernization on your terms. We provide a complete portfolio to help you deliver AI anywhere, starting with our public cloud regions, with the massive scale and rapid innovation that we're now extending into the data center, into your data center, and to the edge with Google Distributed Cloud. And then how we take these environments that can be on-prem, that can be in multiple cloud providers, and help you simply and securely connect all of them. And then finally, how do we leverage AI through Gemini Cloud Assist to help you design, operate, and optimize your cloud environments? I'm going to be talking through Google Distributed Cloud, Cross-Cloud Network, and Gemini Cloud Assist. All right, let's get right into it. Let's remind ourselves what Google Distributed Cloud is. Google Distributed Cloud provides an ability to extend cloud infrastructure fully managed on-prem into your data centers or at the edge, however you define that edge. That can be in a store, in a logistics center, in a co-location. It can be wherever you define that. We offer two configuration modes. One is fully air-gapped. So this is a complete cloud that requires no connectivity into the internet or to Google Cloud to operate. Another mode is connected. So it shows up in Cloud Console as a zone that you manage through Cloud Console. It uses Cloud IAM, et cetera. And that mode, if you have intermittent WAN connectivity, can survive up to 7 days with no connectivity. We also offer a very rich of fully managed integrated services. And we offer flexible operations. Google can operate this environment for you. You can operate it yourselves, or you can have a trusted partner operate it. And then finally, it scales to size. Your cloud can be as small as a 1 RU server and as large as hundreds of racks. And you can start small and grow based on your needs. I'd like to roll this recorded video and just talk through it. And so imagine it's Google tacos. There's a large order being placed here, lots of different types of enchiladas. You've got chicken nuggets, you've got some corn, some fries being ordered. You tally it all up. You then get the payment, and now you need to service this order. And we've got Vision AI with cameras set up in this restaurant. And you can see we can monitor what's being placed on the tray and check it off against the order. And this will work while the internet is available or even if it's not available. So think of the applications of this. You can ensure that the customer is satisfied because they got what they ordered. You can also ensure that you don't have loss because you put something on a tray that they didn't order. Those applications extend to areas such as manufacturing, where you can detect errors of things being created, things being built on that manufacturing line automatically. The examples of where this solution can really help are numerous. So one of them is about Orange. Orange needs to operate in 26 countries where they must apply data services and AI, but are required to keep the data in country. So Orange is working with us to deploy Google Distributed Cloud in each of those countries to have a fully managed cloud solution. Similarly, we've been working with the government of El Salvador. They can use our public cloud region for many, many use cases. But there's just some data that must stay in country. For that, in a particular co-location, they're using Google Distributed Cloud. And then we're working very closely with HSBC. They're looking to modernize. They also have some legacy applications, huge user of Kubernetes. And they would like to get the benefits of our managed services. And so looking at how they keep their data on-prem, but get those modern managed services with GDC. Now, what's new and coming soon with Google Distributed Cloud? So first, we have a new L4 GPU being supported. We also have that new 1 RU server that can go into those restaurants and stores. And we've got a multi-rack solution to scale into those large data centers. We're also bringing Vertex AI, search, and prediction capability. We're bringing AlloyDB Omni as a vector search and vector database solution, and Dataproc Spark for your largest data needs. Let's now talk about what we can do in those fully air-gapped environments. No connectivity to the internet, no connectivity to Google Cloud. This is part of our sovereign cloud strategy, where you need different controls based on your regulatory and compliance needs. So for example, it can be, I need to know which regions my data is in. I need to know who has access to that data. I need to know if I can encrypt it using my own keys, for example. All of those capabilities are available in our public cloud regions. It can then extend to, hey, this data needs to stay on my premise. It needs to be fully disconnected, managed by cleared people, operators that I determine. That's where Google Distributed Cloud comes in. And many of these controls that we describe here are available with Google Workspace as well. And we offer partner and Google managed options. And we are very, very proud to announce that we've completed the accreditation with the US government that has authorized usage of Google Distributed Cloud for top secret and secret use cases. In defense, it can be a use case as simple as help me manage logistics and maintenance. In intelligence, it's about multimodal data that I need to be able to derive insights from and search through very easily. In energy, there are huge targets of attacks. And so how do I manage this critical infrastructure? In life sciences, it can be about accelerating drug discovery. And in financial services, it can be about automated fraud detection. Let's talk a little bit about generative AI search in financial services through an illustrative demo. So imagine you have a new product, FinInsights, and you're trying to launch this in Europe. You've gotten this new PCI DSS requirements, compliance requirements document. Now, for whatever reason, it's been handed to you as a printout. It's in French, and you need to understand if this super confidential product you're building, FinInsights, adheres to these compliance requirements. So we can provide you a GenAI search capability. It should look very familiar. It should look similar to Gemini on the public cloud, except now it's running in your data center, completely air-gapped. And you can start to ask it questions. You can say, please, summarize the requirements in this document. First, you have to upload that document. It does optical character recognition and will translate from French to English and learn from it. You can then say, all right, list out the top requirements, and it lists out top 12 requirements. And then you say, I have this FinInsight specification. Can you compare those requirements to my technical specification? And I want to point out a few things. So it summarizes 3 requirements that are not being met fully. But on the right-hand side, you also see the references and the links that we're providing that we're getting that information from. This is called retrieval augmented generation to ensure that what we're providing is factual, and you can cross-check it from the source documents where we're getting that information. OK, great. We now see that requirements 8, 10, and 11 were not quite compliant. And we click on one of those reference documents on the right, and you'll see that it pulls up that document. We can scroll down. And it was actually pointing to logging and security testing, where we're just not providing enough details. And sure enough, when you go down in the document there, you find that we talk about logging, don't really provide any details. And we talk about security tests, but once again, don't provide details. And we will need to explain this fully in order to make sure that this product is compliant. So what's under the hood? How does all of this actually work? So on the data ingestion side, you've got your own custom data corpus. It can be in many different languages. It can be multimodal. You then take it through our translation services, speech-to-text, OCR services. You categorize it. You create embeddings on that data. We're using an open source model here. You can see that, E5 large v2. And then you save this information in the vector database where we're using AlloyDB. On the query side of this, something very similar happens. We have to understand that query. We have to apply the embeddings model to it. We then need to go to the same vector database, to see how that query matches to something else in the database, retrieve the documents, use an LLM to communicate, summarize, and present that back to the end user. And in this case, we're using Gemma, which is derived from Gemini and is Google's open source 7 billion parameter model. Okay? Let's pull this all together. This entire solution is delivered to you exactly like that, as a solution that out of the box allows you to focus on your data corpus and what insights you need from that data with all of these numbered steps delivered to you as a solution. It's super important, though, for us to make sure that every one of these is also open. If you want to use a different API, different embeddings model, different database, different LLM, you can interchange any one of those components. So what are some great things to look forward to, and what are some new things on GDC air-gapped? First up, on the left-hand side, you see the tactical appliance. This is about 100 pounds, small. It can go in the back of a vehicle and provides a full set of cloud capabilities, many of the capabilities that I described. On the other side, you have our Connex deployment that can go into a container. It's called a forward deployment, can be very quickly deployed to provide cloud services in a new environment. In terms of software services, we're bringing all of the great GenAI capabilities that I talked about. We're also introducing managed Kafka, and many of our customers have talked about API security capability with Apogee, and so we'll be supporting Apogee on GDC as well. Let's switch gears, and let's talk about how you take different environments that you might have on-prem, in other clouds, or in Google Cloud, and you connect them simply and securely together. And cross-cloud network is really about three major use cases. One is how we help you build distributed applications, how we help you deliver internet-facing apps and content, and how we help you secure the hybrid workforce. And so we're now making cross-cloud network, which provides you the one network that easily allows you to connect and securely connect any cloud environment. We're now extending to be service-centric. I'd like to talk about what we mean by service-centric with an example of Scotiabank. Scotiabank was looking at, how do I connect to any of these services and workloads securely and lower my costs, simplify my life? With cross-cloud network, they interconnect from on-prem. They do cross-cloud interconnect to connect the other clouds. They use our cloud next-generation firewall. And we've created this new notion of a service landing VPC. The easiest way to think about this as we've had a capability with Private Service Connect. Think of it as a proxy service in front of our own services, like BigQuery and Cloud SQL. We're extending that not only to third-party services like Confluent and MongoDB, but also to partner services like Wallet and credit cards and the enterprise customers' shared platforms. So you can use the common PSC methodology for services regardless of where they run. One other use case that cross-cloud network enables is, with that interconnect capability, how do you bring the data to the best models? So you really want to use Gemini, but your data is sitting on-prem or in some other cloud. How do you get a cost-effective way with managed SLAs to bring that data to the models? So help with AI solutions. Finally, we're extending the Google Load Balancer so it now supports custom metrics for load balancing for AI inferencing. So if you have an AI session going on, you want to enable session persistence to the same GPU, you can turn that on. If you want to pick the right GPU for the new session based on queue depth so that you improve the utilization and efficiency, lowering costs, and lower the latency for the end user, you can do that. And so thinking through how will you deploy inferencing and leverage networking capability to make that efficient is extremely critical. All right, we talked about Google Distributed Cloud and cross-cloud network. How do we now use AI to help you on your entire cloud journey with Gemini Cloud Assist? We now have a compliance requirement where SVS files, .svs files, need a certain retention policy. Now, those of you who use GCS or any kind of object storage know how hard this is to find out which of your buckets have so many of a certain file type. Seems simple, can be very complicated to run. You ask Gemini this question, it lists all of those buckets for you. You can then ask a question on what is the retention policy for these buckets. And it comes back and says all of them except one are compliant. They have a 7-year retention policy. But the first one, data repository, doesn't. It calls that out at the bottom for you. You can very quickly change the settings so that that bucket also now has a 7-year retention policy. So going from troubleshooting network connectivity, access rights, firewall rules, and getting insights into your objects in GCS. How does all of this work with Gemini? So you've got this 403 error that comes in that you're asking a question about. That's through our chat interface that we present to you. Underneath that, we classify what are you actually trying to do from that prompt. We interpret what you're actually trying to do. We then execute the right set of playbooks underneath to get more information on what might be happening. We also have access to your configuration. It's very important here, the point that it makes about IAM credentials. It's not like Gemini will present a user with information that they don't have access rights to. It will actually consider your privileges to understand what kinds of tests and what kinds of reports it can provide to you as a user. And your data is never training any other larger model. It is kept only for you. And so privacy and security are extremely critical for us. We then take that back through Gemini to construct a meaningful response for the end user. We're very excited about continuing to enhance Gemini Cloud Assist with more and more use cases to help you design, operate, and optimize. All right, let's bring this to a close. We've talked about a number of things that help bring AI anywhere: connected edge and data centers, air-gapped cloud, cross-cloud network, Gemini Cloud Assist. No matter what your needs are, a public cloud with Google Distributed Cloud, with our cross-cloud network capabilities, can help you achieve your goals with AI and data.